Cameron?
Hello, and welcome to the... Oh, no. Third installment? Fourth? I don't remember.
Third.
Third?
I think it's
To
third.
another Goblin panel.
I think there's
Is
only
it-
been. This is clearly only the second
it's
one.
It's fourth.
It's
no?
four.
It's four.
It's a number between 1 and 5, certainly.
Yes.
Yes.
The Goblins in residence this time is myself, John Denor, and I've also got Frederica,
Hello.
Ananam,
Hello.
and Cameron.
Hello.
All right. The... oh, no. There we go. The topics for tonight's panel are... Should I? No. You know what? We're gonna announce them as we get to them. So the first thing on the agenda that I've put as the main topic is the release of the Red Road adventure from MCDM, and the question is really, should we just let Frederica get her hot takes out of the way?
Bring it on.
Let her loose. Go on.
Is it about the maps?
No. This one is more about the encounter objectives.
Oh, okay.
Oh, interesting.
Like, I don't know. I am bored. I don't know. I've been running Draw Steel a lot, and I am bored of fights to the death. I'm just over fights to the death. And it winds me up when they. So the thing that my hot take here is, okay, the final fight was originally one encounter with Vassar in it. And I playtested this adventure, and we fed back that the fact that Vassar was a solo and had 2 turns while there were other monsters in the battlefield was stupid and really hard while the Goblin army. So what they did is they didn't fix that. They just split it into 2 fights. And so now you have 2 boring fights instead of 1 OP but cool fight. Is my recollection.
I didn't have as big a problem with the combats necessarily, but I was in a play test, and I was a player in one, and I was like, the decisions that you're making aren't really interesting to me, and they're like to us as players. Spoilers: you either like intercept the gnolls, or you go to the the elf the citadel or whatever, and like we were just like, okay, yeah, obviously we're gonna go to the elf citadel. Like that's the obvious decision to make. And I thought, that's not really an interesting choice to put in front of the players. Yeah, that was my own major problem. And then, of course, I run it for John and a few others, and you see what they chose to do. But yeah, they went right for the gnolls. Right for the gnolls.
Bring on the spoilers.
Spoilers, yeah.
I
quote
have
Matt
to say,
Colville, one
having been a
choice is no choice.
Haven't been a player in this. I liked the parts that weren't the combats. Especially when we got to, well, it was called Ashton, I believe, when we played it, but they changed the name to Asher.
Yeah.
That's the new name.
Yeah.
But when we were there and doing the montage where we moved around the city and investigating the different sections, I had a lot of fun doing the roleplay bits from that. And I thought that was actually a montage test that worked really well. And I also enjoyed when we got to the elves and the part that was there. I haven't read that section now that we've played it, and to see how much of that was you, Cameron, running and how much was actually in the adventure. But I really enjoyed that part at least.
Yeah, I think I remember thinking quite critically of the first investigation of the town, because you kind of like, I think the first thing that when I sort of turned it over to all of you, and I don't think it made the final cut because it kind of was a like a I don't want to say a buzzkill, but it sort of released all the tension of it. Was one of the players was just like, oh, what do I know about gnolls? Because obviously this is gnolls, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's obviously going to be about gnolls, and there isn't enough to dig into. It's not interesting enough. The plot of the gnolls is not interesting enough and not layered enough to sort of warrant how much time you're spending investigating. You know, if there was a little extra sauce there, then I think maybe it'd be cool. But I think it's just you gotta ratchet it up, I think.
When I was a
Personally.
player in the playtest version, to be clear, so this was a bit ago, we had the same experience where like I knew vaguely. I was like, I know it's demons or gnolls, and then I realized within like 15 seconds, like it was like, oh, this is gnolls, and then the adventure was like building it up for like the first hour of play, and it was like, oh, it's gnolls, and I was like, oh, was that what we were learning? That was the thing that
Yeah.
I found weird. Is like it felt like
Yeah.
there needed to be a secondary thing we were learning. It's like, oh, it's gnolls, and they're doing this, and instead it was, oh, it's gnolls, and then also we're just going to tell you what they're doing.
Yeah, and they're worshiping some blood god. Okay, that seems very gnolly. You know, that seems
That
like
doesn't-
something gnolls would fucking.
To me, learning that the gnolls are worshipping a blood god as someone who doesn't know the Ord, maybe that's weird in old Orden lore, but to me, I was like, that just what you've just said is there's gnolls and
Yeah.
they're gnolls. It's like I know that the gnolls are gnolls. They are doing gnoll things. What did you? What else would gnolls be doing? Gnolls that have destroyed
Yep.
the entire town. What would they be doing other than worshipping some evil deity for power?
Yeah, exactly.
Hyena tracks. I wonder what it could mean.
Yeah, I mean, the first time you get a clue in the town of like, oh, there's a tuft of fur. There's this little bit. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's obviously going to be gnolls. It's obviously going to be. I don't know. It just seemed it. You needed another layer of it. You needed to complicate it a little bit more, I think.
Well, I guess like MCDM just didn't move away from the roots of what gnolls are in the Dungeons and Dragons, right? Because
That's a
it's
good
very
point.
similar, and to a certain extent, like gnolls are not imagined complexly in this case. For example, Pathfinder Second Edition went in a completely different direction with gnolls. They are no longer like blood demons from hell's demonic hyenas, right? They're like a shamanistic society living
okay.
in like analog to Africa in the Pathfinder setting. So they are kind of like like associated mostly with desert and with jungles, and they are not like scavengers, not eating corpses and stuff. They are more civilized. So I guess maybe Noel's turn will come in the future, right?
Yeah,
I
maybe.
wonder though, with this adventure, because they're kind of building up to it being gnolls. That would work if the assumption was you don't know what gnolls are. But with Draw Steel, kind of having it was at least a part of the mindset when designing Draw Steel that this is probably going to be your second RPG, most likely after D&D or a similar D20 fantasy game. The odds of someone not knowing what gnolls are when coming from D&D, I feel is low.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
But
don't.
I
I
think
don't even think gnolls are hyena gnolls are specific to Dungeons and Dragons. I believe gnolls in many different like fantasy settings are also
they
hyena
must-
folk.
they must not be generic to D&D because otherwise they'd be copyrighted and MCDM wouldn't be able to call them a meaning.
That's true.
Gnolls.
Yeah,
Like,
this too. But, in
but I think-
Warcraft, gnolls are also hyena folk.
Yeah, but I think it's also like a bigger issue is that how do I say this? MCDM adventures are not made by the MCDM team or people native to Draw Steel.
Yeah, that's a good point.
This
And
one,
not yet.
that's
Not
why
yet.
they're just
Yeah.
that's why
This-
they're just D&D adventures because they are made by D&D people.
am I right that Red Road was actually written by Luis Loza, who is
I believe
one of the main designers for actually Pathfinder Second Edition?
Oh,
Sorry.
gosh, wow.
Okay, I expand. It's not D&D specifically. It's D20 fantasy.
Yeah.
But they're not
I'm-
Draw Steel natives.
I was just linked towards that in Pathfinder, like gnolls are completely different in Pathfinder right now. So it's funny that a Pathfinder designer went with the classic take on gnolls, right? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Luis Loza.
I think
It's
that
funny.
ultimately, it's not about what the director thinks in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously the director is supposed to have a fun time, and I did have a fun time. It was because of the people at the table, kind of. But it's ultimately how does the player think? And I don't want to put words in your mouth, John, or my other players, but like, did you actually have a fun time with it?
Yeah, but you know, to some degree, when you're
Come
playing,
on, John, speak your mind.
Like, no, like,
John,
how
yeah,
much,
John,
how much of that
embrace the
fun
hot
is
takes.
because of the adventure, and because and how much of the fun is because or despite of the adventure.
yeah,
I don't know. It was a really fun group, so it might have just been
true.
that us playing together made it more fun. I don't necessarily know if I saw that the maps have been changed a bit since we played the battle maps. There's a bit more elevation now than there was when we played,
yeah.
which makes it a bit more interesting. But yeah, I don't know. The things that stood out to me was basically the sections where we were interacting socially and not necessarily
100%. Where you had some agency.
yeah. But you do have agency in combat too, sure. But yeah, I felt
I-
like I felt
I
like
think-
the social bits were the strength of this adventure,
Yeah.
and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, even in a Drossil adventure. But yeah,
I also played it as a player. I didn't run it, but I think we need to make a distinction with adventures between agency of how do I achieve an objective given to me and like picking your own objectives, because that's my biggest gripe with Draw Steel adventures at the moment is they're meant to have player agency, but because, as Matt said on stream a few nights ago, they want them to be basically what I would describe as personally as a railroad where there is a set adventure path, then that's not really agency. How you achieve a goal somebody else has set for you isn't really agency in my book.
It depends on how much power you have in like what tools you're given. I would say, yeah, and I don't think you're given a lot of tools. I think it's kind of, fight the gnolls or go talk to the high elves. When I was a player in this game, during the playtest, I was actually quite frustrated with the high elves because we, similarly to
too.
with John's idea, he brought a severed gnoll head. They have a little whelp, a gnoll whelp, and they're like, yeah, there's obviously gnolls are coming here. We want to help you, and yet we're negotiating with you, and I don't understand. Like, why should we bother? Why should we bother helping these people? Because they're not receptive to our help.
But I think this is an issue with the way the adventures are designed, where failure is it's really weird, right? Because this is why I say that it's obvious they're not designed by Draw Steel natives. It's part of the core design of Draw Steel is cascading failures. It's something can go wrong, but it doesn't mean it's over. It's a failure. It's a partial failure. There's a lot of partial failures in Draw Steel. There's not really like, oh, you failed, you've died. But their adventure design is all, oh yeah, no. Every encounter is if you lose, the adventure is functionally over. Like you're all going to die, or oh, you failed the negotiation, all the elves are going to die. You failed the combat, all the elves are going to die. There's no. Oh, you failed the negotiation, but then then. That's my big, and this adventure is criminal for it.
There are opportunities to steal, to like break into the font of the librarian and like, use that power without the elves knowing, but it take the wind out of your sails when the elves don't even want help from you. And I'm like, oh God, why?
Well, I want to know that even though the main writer for this thing was like outside of MCDM, it seems like there was still some supervision. Like the developer for this is still Willy, which is very much MCDM based.
Yeah.
So I don't think there was no supervision. I don't think we can like offload the bad things about this adventure to just it being like developed outside of MCDM.
I am inclined to agree with you that the number of adventures that have had similar faults kind of implies to me that it's an internal thing as well.
Maybe.
I mean,
Who knows? It could be anything. I don't know. I just think that the idea, the concept of this one is like they've done pretty well with the Delian Tomb and Dark Heart of the Wood. I thought was a killer adventure, and I think that the Condemned. I just finished running the Condemned, and that's a really high stakes one, and I just think that the actual concept of this one doesn't make any sense of racing the gnolls and all of. I think you need a little bit more juice. I think you should have. They shouldn't have made it gnolls. They should have made it some other kind of monster so
Well,
that you don't know what you're
pause.
facing. Oh yeah.
Question though, if you're saying like, oh, the Condemned is good because the stakes are better, right? The plot is better. Is it actually fix it? Does it actually is it any better core wise? Like, because I only ran the first encounter, but I had to look through it, but the maps didn't look that much better to me. It's still very linear. It's still very pass fail. Are those core issues fixed, or is it just that it's a better plot, so it's fun? Like you don't care because you're like, this is cool.
It's more fun. It's most certainly more fun. I think I don't know. I would have to ask my players about the Condemned, but I think it was it was fun for me because it was a more enjoyable space to play in, I guess. This and you do have a lot of agency when and like problem solving and whatnot. Like when you're on the Chrysopolis and whatnot, there it really opens up there, and you can do a bunch of different things.
I think part of the strength of the Condemned though is also that the pre-gens are actually they're interesting, and because they've added they've done the downtime project where they pick up an ability from a different class, so you get this kind of pre-gen that you normally wouldn't see in anywhere basically, because usually the pre-gens are like, oh, these are like the default options to make it easy to play. But the pre-gens are I thought they were actually interesting and not necessarily one that I would have built myself, and I think that part of that also brings, and they're tailor-made for this adventure, which makes them fit better within the fiction. So it kind of helps.
Yeah,
Do the pre-gens actually affect the adventure, or is it that you're like, oh, this is a cool plot with good characters?
well, the pre-gens are like tailor-made for the adventure, so that things from the adventure can be solved by the pre-gens, and also pre-gens have like unique tools and mechanics. I believe there is one pre-gen with a complication that, depending on the outcome of the role, has bigger areas for their abilities.
Oh yeah. I think so.
They are good characters in that they basically just work well with the adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily tied to the story, which I think you could do more with that. I think it's tricky though. Yeah. But I think because then you're really railroading based on, hey,
Yes.
I've given you this character sheet and this is how you interact with this character. It's really tricky. It's a fine line with that. You could do it well, but it's
adventure also
tricky.
includes guidelines for how to create your own Condemned.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
To bring them on par with the others.
But I gotta say there's 10 of them, right? The 10 pre-gens are so cool and with so many unique things. I would not build my own. I would just run one of the 10, you know? This is a very unique case because I would never run a pre-gen in any other case. Like for the Delian Tomb, I've run a pre-gen because Cameron was like, you gotta run a pre-gen. And I was like, okay.
Did I say that? Oh, wow. I don't know.
Yeah. But for any other game, I would just build my own, you know? But the pre-gens for the Condemned are amazing. I would play any one of them.
Yeah, me too.
I had to play the Time Raider.
Obviously.
Yeah. But I think it's just different. It's just a different thing. Like the Condemned is this, you know, it's also tapping into a fiction that you already know. You know the Suicide Squad. You know that kind of like the Dirty Dozen. People know what to expect with it, and they have a sort of skeletal structure with that adventure. The Red Road is trying something. It's trying something different. In that I don't know another adventure like it that is with the same objectives. Obviously, not saying that's a fantastic thing, but it is trying something different though, and I think it's hard to make heads or tails of the decisions there. Yeah, some of it.
To the idea that Federica had about MCDM and how to design adventures, one thing that it will be interesting to see is the outcome of Crack the Sun alongside Withering War, alongside Keep on the Road to War, which are all three inspired by the same adventure.
That's true. Yeah.
Red Hand of Doom, but they're all trying something different. Well, Crack the Sun is very different. It's very much like inspired by real events movies, where it's like, oh, something cool happened, so we're gonna make a story out of it. But with Withering War, it sounds like it's following Red Hand of Doom more closely, and it very much looks like it's going to be different implementations of the same spark of inspiration, and I it's going to be interesting to see how those adventures feel alongside each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we gotta wait and see. It's gonna depend on the talent of the designers.
I'm currently preparing to run the Withering War, so I don't think that might be saying, but I may or may not have access to a more up-to-date version of Act 1 for the Withering War, and
Hell yeah.
but my favorite thing about reading the Withering War is that as you read it, it gets more interesting and better, which is a thing that I don't find with a lot of adventures. Normally, I find adventures tell you loads of cool stuff up front, and you're like, wow, this is super hype. And then they're like, but it's actually just a series of combat encounters loosely tied together with some travel montages and a negotiation and a pivotal moment to get the ally to join you. And in this one, it's like, cool setup. And then we have invented unique mechanics for this adventure, like the travel exhaustion rules. They might break with a talent. I might find this out depending on what happens, but they're really, really cool and they're unique. And I know that if I ran that adventure, it wouldn't feel like running any other adventure, and it doesn't feel like something I could just have. It doesn't feel like something I could have made myself.
Yeah.
After
cool.
the interview I did with the designer Peter Lacara, I got really interested because it sounds like he's really trying to do something that not necessarily different, but it feels like he's trying to do something that's better. And I got really intrigued by his use of negotiation and the stuff that he said about negotiations, because that's like an uncut gem. Yes, uncut gem, where it's like
I think so. Yeah.
a diamond in the rough.
That
Yes.
idea of running negotiations simultaneously, I ran that in my game for reasons. There's this group the players have to interact with, which are controlled by 3 people who have to agree to do anything. So the players went in and they had to negotiate with all 3 simultaneously and get 2 of them to agree. And they had things where
That's
one
dope.
of them had a motivation that was another person's pitfall. And so the players were not very happy, but it was a very, very fun scene. So it works well. Can confirm it's a good idea.
We started at Red Road, we ended at Withering War, and now we're moving on.
Tangents. My God, tangents.
What was the topic again?
You invited me back. I take no responsibility.
What is the kick button?
No.
Oh, by my... Sorry, it's copyright strike.
Also released recently was the first playtest for Crack the Sun. Speaking of these adventures, I haven't looked too much at it because I'm supposed to be a player, and I don't want to spoil myself too much. Kramer's wagging his finger at me.
No.
But for those that have had a chance to look at it, what's your initial impressions of the Crack the Sun and Act 1 specifically?
Bad.
I think it's good. I think it's fun. I haven't looked at the combats, which I know you have a problem with, but the story. I don't know. I think.
Well,
that,
it's a good story. By the way, full disclosure, I would love to see the cinematic movie of Crack the Sun. Sounds amazing, or a theater play. Just doesn't sound like a good adventure at all in any way.
Wow.
I think it sounds like amazing. But I loved Dusk, and I've been watching that quite a bit now in the last
It's
few.
a great,
like,
it's a
last
great
week.
piece of media to watch.
It is good. No, it is, isn't it? It's so fun. Dusk is so much fun. It is.
No, I'm saying
But-
I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying Dusk is really fun. I'm
Oh,
saying
oh,
that saying
okay,
that it's
okay,
good
okay.
to watch does
Okay,
not make
yes.
it a good adventure.
Well,
well,
it's
also for
not
different
exactly
people, yeah.
Dusk, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's more like the vibe, but
Once
but
again, it's like inspired by.
Yeah. But I think so far I haven't really looked into combats, but I've been reading just like the snippets of like trying to figure out what kind of journey these characters are going to go through, and
Painful one.
yeah, apparently a very painful one. Yes, and I want to be able to guide my players through that. I'm less concerned with the combat because there's going to be about 1 million combats in that adventure at the end, but from 3rd to whatever 7th level, and so I'm less interested in about that right now. But I don't know. It looks like it's.
I would
it
be
looks like it's going to be
worried.
fun. Worried?
I would be worried. They are having looked over all of the combats in Act 1. They need some serious revisions to not get very, very repetitive.
That is a problem with
I've
any
not run
kind
them.
of campaign.
I've not run them. I've not
Yeah.
run them. I could be very off with this, but map design is map design.
No. My
yeah.
first reaction after flipping through was like, what? They are using their own serpent folk? How can they?
Serpent folk. I haven't seen that. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
My biggest concern with the adventure is, can your character go on a meaningful story in a TTRPG if their decisions are pre-decided for them?
I think so. Yeah, it's not about the points in the story. It's not about necessarily your agency. It's about how it affects you, and asking those players and those characters what how these things affect them. That's always more interesting than like the Red Road. There's a section in it where I'm just asking the players, how has this affected you? What do you how does that make you feel? And that's more interesting than anything else that they can put on the page because it's unique to each character. Like other games do that as well. Like I think to some extent, like the Avatar Legends, I think does something like that, and a bunch of like horror games and whatnot.
Well, you gotta design adventures in a way that makes it predictable for you to know where the adventure is going, because otherwise, like, anything can happen, right? They're gonna be structured in a way that you know what's coming next, so that it's I don't know. You need like a form to design in, right? Because otherwise you just say, oh, anything can happen, figure it out, and that's not good advice, and it's not good help for the director.
Yeah.
I raise you the Withering Wall. It doesn't say that this is
Really?
how the players will go through the story. It says, in Act 1, these things will happen. The order is undetermined. This is how you change. From my reading through, it's kind of like, this is what will happen. This is how they will affect the overall outcome. So the players can do A, B, C, D, or they can do C, B, A, D. And depending on what order you do things, it might be that if you do B first, B might be easier, but it might be that you can't do A, and that then affects the end of the campaign at the end. Instead of it having my issue, I understand that an adventure can only present so much information, right? It obviously cannot predict all player outcomes.
Yeah.
My issue comes when an adventure says something like that the Crack the Sun Act 1 says all the time. When the players do, the players will do. How do you know that? Like, I understand that, like, it just... For me, that's not what I want from an adventure.
I think it's because if the players don't do that, the director's gonna rip their hair out. To be honest, you know what I mean. Like this is what the adventure has prepared, and you go. I see what you're saying, where you're going along with a story and whatnot, but I don't think about that. For me at least, it's about the characters. It's about your character's reaction to the things that are happening around you, and you can still have interesting moments, and you can still have like character deaths and whatnot. You can still have that in the adventure, but it's more about the reaction of the heroes, I guess. For me at least. I mean, we could have totally different play styles though, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand. This is a conversation. I see why you like Crack the Sun. It's just for me. I feel like you can have you can create space for the players to have interesting, meaningful character development in an adventure. Like Light Below does a really good job of it, right? And Light Below is a very old adventure, and it has a section where you have more options of what you could do throughout. It's kind of, here is a section of options you can complete. My feeling is, I feel like we're saying, I think it's good to have space for characters to react and have growth and all that stuff, if that's what you're really into. But I'm concerned that we seem to be treating this like, to do that, you have to take out all player agency from the adventure. That feels weird to me, to be like, to have the characters be able to go on a journey and learn things and change, they must have no choice. That's just...
I don't think must. No, I think you
So
can have
why-
both. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so
you could
why
have both.
doesn't Crack the Sun have both? It's a premium... Like, this is a flaw, this is a straw man argument. But remember, there are people who paid $500 for Crack the Sun. And they're getting tokens with it, but even the like base copy is like £70, like $70. Like, I expect an adventure that costs $70 to be good, not just one thing.
Good is very subjective.
That's true.
That is a bad
That's
way
true.
of phrasing it, but I'm just there like it's weird to me that it's like MCDM make premium products. They say it themselves. It's a premium, excellent example. So, and then it's like, oh no, we can only do this one thing, and I'm like, I don't get why. Why is it only one
Well,
thing?
let me just point out that this adventure is and will be extensively playtested, and MCDM does collect a lot of feedback, and the feedback will shape the adventure. So if the feedback is the adventure is too linear, the adventure is too simple, there is no agency, I am pretty sure they will figure it out. They have a lot of time for iteration and revision, and at the end of the day, it's probably gonna be what's thought is the best by the majority of the playtesters. Which might not be what's the best for the adventure, which might not be to your taste, but in the end, I believe it's gonna be at least around in the territory of good for most of the people who playtest it. Hopefully, I believe in the process. I believe in the process.
I think T-Dos brings up a good point in chat, though, that this is supposed to be 5 acts across 5 levels. It's a large adventure. And it's hard making Act 5 if you don't make some assumptions about 1 through 4, I think.
That's
Hard,
also
but not impossible.
Well, you know, you can set
it
a
was-
beginning, you can set beats, and you can set an ending to an act. But the way you get from one point to the other and the ordering of the stuff, like this can differ. If it's like only one potential path from point A to B to C, then I can see how that's a lack of agency.
Like,
But if we got different beats and we can get to them in different order, if the like adventure is open, just as Frederica says about the Withering War, right? I can see how that's better, but this also like requires a lot of fiddling with this stuff. But yeah.
But
yeah.
also, like the reason I want to point out, if I'd seen Act 1 of Crack the Sun and it was from a third party publisher with no experience, I would obviously be going, this is high quality. I'm not saying that this is like, if we're scaling like a 1 to 5, I'm not saying this is a 1. I'm saying this is like a 3. And MCDM have set the standard. They're trying to reinvent the adventure format. And I'm going, this isn't good enough to be that, right? And MCDM have set the bar all the way up here because I feel like we're having this conversation like they haven't just made a game, which is like Draw Steel is really, really good. It's better than I imagined, anyone I've talked to imagined it would have been before it came out. So why are we now letting them settle for a kind of compromise take?
Frederica, I'm gonna answer with a meme. Let them cook.
Okay, no. So I have a thing here because I knew this would be the thing that people would say. Oh, it's a playtest adventure, right? But if I don't say this stuff, it won't be fixed. So I have to say what I think about the adventure now. Otherwise, it definitely won't get fixed. And two, the Red Road has not significantly changed since the playtest.
That's good. That's a fair point.
And the Delian Tube did not significantly change from the playtest. The one that's a kicker to me, the Fall of Blackbottom map had not change from a playtest version of Draw Steel that I played before heroic resources were a thing. I played the Fall of Blackbottom I played a Shadow before they had. It was before heroic resources were a set. It was when Malice was still named for each monster and was called Souls. And I played the Fall of Blackbottom Tavern encounter, the start of it, and it is the identical map to what came out in the final thing. So there is change, but it's not as revolutionary as I think some of the adventures needed.
Well, one thing I can admit is that MCDM probably should level up their maps, right? Because for a game all about interesting tactical situations, most of the maps MCDM uses are not interesting tactical situations. You want good tactical maps for Draw Steel, you should check out Gab's things. Because I think like Gab is top one map designer for Draw Steel. Oh my god, Gab even posted his like tutorial map making for Draw Steel, and it's exquisite.
I have to check that out.
Yeah, I think it's available for free even.
Jenny mentions in chat that she's expects to pay for the railroad, and if you want something that's not, if you don't want that pay for the built railroad, then you're better off maybe running something homebrew after all.
Don't they wait? Let me just check. I'm gonna check something. Make sure I'm not talking at my ass.
I'm not gonna check to see if I'm talking out of my ass, but that's normal. I like a railroad adventure. I personally like it because it's even if it's not a pre-written adventure, if it's your GM cooked this thing up, I like that because it's trusting your GM with the story that they're trying to tell, and they've invited you in to collaborate on that story. And even if you don't have I know we said agency a million times in this stream already, but even if you don't have the proper amount in quotes of agency, it's still fun because it's I don't know, it can still be fun. It can still be fun. As long as you have trust with your director. You know what I mean?
I think there's railroads, and then there's the one that's criminal to me is at the end of the adventure, there is a fight with some goblins. Try to make this spoiler free. There is a fight with a group of enemies who are in a tower. That tower, as far as I could see reading through it, I might have missed, I'm dyslexic, I miss information sometimes. There's no real explanation of what the bad thing is that will happen if they succeed with their plan of making a really tall tower. If the players make the decision to take the people home safely and not engage in the tower, the adventure literally says that Kenway tells them to go back and do the adventure, and then you run the encounter the exact same way.
No.
It's not even... This is the change. Change the encounter to make it harder this way for the players being unheroic, or for saving the villagers over defeating a tower, which at no point does it say why you shouldn't defeat it. It's no, go back and just do the exact same thing because you didn't do the adventure right.
I don't know.
That's not a railroad. That's that's like that's not a roller coaster. That is an actual just rail. That's like kiddie rails on bowling. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Heroes, you gotta do this because then hobgoblins will be able to see very far.
They'll have the tallest structure in all of Orden, and I need to overcompensate.
And also, there was a point earlier on where you said, this is what I went back to check, that you said that, well, there is agency because the characters can still die and stuff, but there is a section at the start which acknowledges the fact that people might die. And one of the suggestions given is Kenway just brings them back to life. Now, I question if you have set your adventure up correctly, if that is your solution. Particularly when Matt is making a video, which he talked about on stream, about how, the issue with plotting is this, and that's why we have Deus Ex Machinas, is plotting issue. To then have a sidebar at the start of the adventure you're talking about, basically say, if your players die, Deus Ex Machina, and you compare that to an adventure like The Withering War that has a prepared, the players have got could get kidnapped at any of these different points in the adventure. This is what happens if they get kidnapped, and because that adventure is using time and war score, they can punish the players without having to kill them, and then you're able to have interesting fights that aren't just death.
I mean, that's also in the guidance of like how lethal you want the game to be, and that kind of stuff. And I found that kind of useful. It depends on how invested your or I saw it as more like a guidance on like almost like a safety tool, kind of to some degree, a safety tool. You know, like are your players going to be like really put off by their characters dying and that kind of stuff? But it is also talking about like difficulty of the adventure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this is the thing to me is like I have gone away into my cave of YouTube script writing, and I have a video brewing that is not finished yet. So these thoughts are not coherent yet. But I think the discussion of how deadly your game is actually, without really realizing it, because so many TTRPGs assume that the default encounter objective is death, and that all encounters can be solved by killing the other team, right? A lot of the time, and definitely Adventures assume this, and definitely Crack the Sun assumes this, with one exception where it's kill someone or you can do something else. That then means that the default assumption is the enemies will fight to kill you until you die, right? That then means that the question about how deadly is your game is basically a question of how much failure do you have in your game. And if you can separate death and failure, it solves all of the issues, because now you can have failure without death, and now players who are engaged in their characters not dying, you don't have to worry about that. But players who like death because they want to be challenged and have the chance of failing, don't have to, like, you don't have to shit on players' fun who want to have interesting characters and or let people have failure. You can do both. And then that solves the Deus Ex Machina question, because then you do what the Withering War does, and you have a failure condition, which is definitely bad and would be really bad for the PCs in that adventure, and they definitely want to avoid. But you don't. So then the players who like that want failure have this, and the players who don't want to die also get it. Why? These are not mutually exclusive things. This is just like common knowledge, which is, it's just weird to me. It's like, why are we like, you can either have failure or fun, interesting long-term characters. I don't know many players who like failure equaling I die all the time. I don't know players who are like actually enjoying that, except the ones who don't see that as failure.
Yeah.
I see Shuv mentioned in chat that the option of Kenway resurrecting the group is giving the group permission when the group have a tacit understanding that they won't get to keep their characters. It's the adventurer saying, if it's okay to have them have the characters resurrected as a way to say that that's okay for the director to do.
It's giving permission
I agree,
to the director.
I agree that that's giving permission to the director, but also the director already had permission to do that if they wanted to at their table. I don't feel like you need the permission. My argument is that, to me, is saying they have noticed they have a problem, and they've come to the solution being Deus Ex Machina.
I disagree with that.
No, I think your character. You died. But Kenway saved you.
I
off
think it's a
screen.
harmless little. I think it's a harmless little thing.
I
And I don't know.
don't-
I mean, if they had guidance in there of like, what does that mean? What does resurrection mean? Then that's different. But
Yeah, if they,
it
if
could
they
also
had that
be-
guidance, if
yeah.
there was punishment, if there was downsides
Yeah.
to it, but it's not. The way the adventure is set up is, oh, you just save at the checkpoint, you die, do it again. There's no explanation of how what changes. Because there is no acknowledgement at any point on any encounter of what happens if the party fail. It is the party die. Kenway brings them back to life. So does that mean they just do the encounter again? Does that mean they just get to pass the encounter anyway? Like, what actually happens if you fail an encounter and crack the sun?
I think. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I mean, the bad guys win, right? And so you have to think
Yeah,
about that and think
GG.
about what do they, but then again, do they have guidance of like, hey, if I think that's the thing about Draw Steel is that they're kind of like the heroes are assumed to win, and I think
they're
that's a
hard
different.
to kill. It's
they're-
hard to TPK a party.
It's hard to TPK, yeah, definitely hard
And-
to TPK.
Yeah. You can go with the Deus Ex of resurrecting the heroes, but also, for some reason, a second party of adventurers might just stumble upon the adventure, you know?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, but
Well-
that still doesn't answer the question of what happens if you fail the combat. Any of these
Well,
combats. Do you just fail the adventure?
It would be, of course, it would be preferable if there was like failure state in the adventure, like the Withering War. But it's also like, in this case, it's up to director, right? The adventure, I don't think, does it specify you gotta kill your players if they fail?
Yeah.
Well, if it doesn't, then it's like up to the
Multiple
like-
encounters literally say the enemies fight to the death.
okay.
The very first encounter literally tells you, against the advice in the monster book, to focus fire on the player who gets the unimportant satchel that the monsters care so little about, they'll drop if they lose the fight. And won't try
Alright.
to leave with and just try to kill the party.
Then it
They
might
literally
be problematic.
They
Maybe, I don't know.
this is the issue. This is the issue, right? I wouldn't have this issue if the encounter objectives weren't fights to the death. But if you're only going to have fights to the death with one exception where the solution is also fight to the death, but you could do one other thing that then leads directly into a fight to the death, then this wouldn't be an issue. I wouldn't be bringing this up.
Yeah.
But because that's the thing that we have set up, then it's a problem.
That is a very good thing to put into feedback.
That's
And
true.
My director instinct would be to go against the advice and not fight to the death, right? If the combats are too hard and the players are constantly in danger of dying, I would just not make the monsters fight to the death.
I think it's also
yes.
you brought up a good point, Frederica, as well, that it could be repetitive, and that's the one thing that I'm worried about with Crack the Sun is that the combat, while combats can be fun, constant fighting,
Constant fighting
need
to the death.
Yeah,
Is and with no
That is a good
objective,
point.
because there's no objective, there's no interest to the fight, because we know that if the players die they just get resurrected, therefore it didn't matter. So it's just how we just have to it's just filler fights. You just have to kill them.
There should be narrative consequences. There should be like a
Yes.
timer, right? If heroes die,
Yeah.
then something progresses, right? It's worse
100%
for them.
there should be.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that would then mean there'd also
That's
be
how-
punishment for skipping the encounter instead of it just being, no, you have to do the encounter. You don't have a
That's
choice.
exactly how Red Hand of Doom worked, because it counted like the progress of the adventure in days. By the day 7, the Red Horde crosses the breach, right, or something like this. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna move us on.
One last
controversial.
thing, because there was a very funny comment in the chat. Something about someone from the Withering War passed Frederica a couple of bucks.
No. Full disclosure, I have in the past been sponsored by Withering War. I have no commercial link to Withering War at the moment. I don't work for them. I would make no money if they succeeded. I have been sponsored by Withering War in the past. So if you want to assume that I am biased against Crack the Sun because I'm paid by Withering War, you can. But I will let you know that I have been, as I'm preparing to run the Withering War, I have been messaging Pete about all of the issues in the Withering War that I've been finding. And, like, I think his maps are equally as... They're nearly as bad as the MCDM maps.
Oh, no.
Shots fired.
Yeah, shots fired.
So now we're moving on
Yes, now we're moving on. Right.
Sorry.
to the next topic. No, this is
Okay,
fine.
you
but-
brought me back. You brought me back. You knew what would happen.
Yeah. So for the next controversial topic, the travel rules for crows.
Oh God.
Quadruple thumbs up. Amazing.
Quadrupled. What are you, a time raider now? Jesus.
Yep. I go for it.
Yeah. No. I just remember having multiple characters die during the last travel that I had with in Crows, and I was like, oh, this doesn't feel good. What does everyone think?
I really like these travel rules of the old one. I think it was pretty wide agreement, and James also mentioned this on stream, that the traveling rules scored incredibly low on the feedback survey. And I think these new rules fix a lot of the issues, almost all, basically all the issues that I had with them. Each of the roles have more options now. They each get like 3 different things they can do, and they lean on different characteristics and skills, which means that more crows are fit the different roles better. You get to choose between the different things which affect, and the outcomes of the different things you do in each role have different effects based on, will give you different boons and possible drawbacks. That all works incredibly well, and the miasma doesn't look as punishing anymore, which is also good. And it's easier to get rid of boned, which is also a good thing, because I also saw a lot of people mentioning, we arrive at the dungeon, we've got like -3 or three levels of bone, which means that we're gonna suck during the first dungeon turn. How do we skip the first dungeon turn just to be able to go into the dungeon without a -3 to every roll? So a lot of those issues have been fixed. And what was on the only issue that I still have with the whole thing is that the encounter number is roll under, because that makes it just breaks my brain that because you usually want to avoid the encounters, which means in Crows currently, and even now with the change to a D10 for the encounter roll, you want to roll under the number. So that means that if the likelihood of an encounter increases, the encounter number decreases. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
And also,
hopefully you gotta be sorted out.
yeah, and also the other issue that I have because of this, for example, if it mentions here, rest encounters today is 8, which means that there is a 30% likelihood of having an encounter when you roll, which is counterintuitive, because it looks like if this had been reversed, it would have been the encounter number is 3, which gives it a 30% likelihood of having an encounter. So 3 and 30, they make sense because those are the same numbers. But in this case, it looks like, because 8 is actually 30% likelihood, but it feels like it should either be 80% of likelihood of not having an encounter, or 80. Like the math is just, there's an extra step here that's unnecessary.
John, you have successfully convinced me that it's actually only 3 thumbs up.
Oh God. The more we talk about it, the less thumbs will come.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
the encounter number is the only issue that I have, and that's an issue that I have with the first version of the rules too. I don't like that it's roll under, because it screws up with all like the logic. Like, the lower number is worse. That's how tables work.
Usually depends on the system.
I also I don't know. I whenever I see travel rules, I usually just skip them, because why do we do this? Why do we do this? Just make an episodic dungeon crawler. I don't give a shit about traveling.
If the game is not about traveling, then travel rules are very boring. And then afterthought, usually, like I remember the hex scroll rules from Tomb of Annihilation for 5e, and it was a disaster. I had to come up with my own system for travel, and then I dropped the system for travel because I don't need it.
We're not holding MCDM to a high enough standard again. No, the MCDM are capable of making good travel rules. They're getting close with this. They're not fully there yet. They're getting closer, but they're capable of making, like, I fully believe that if they put the time into it, they could do it.
Yeah.
Or we should be holding them to that standard.
I don't mean to say that there are no good travel rules, and these ones are definitely miles better than the previous one, which were both tedious and super deadly, right? The game should
like-
not be about potential heroes dying
They're a big
while trying to
upgrade.
get to the dungeon.
If these
two
ones
or
are
three
3 thumbs up,
characters.
the last ones were 4 thumb down. Let's go for Cameron. Go for Cameron.
If I'm going to back Crows, I'm backing a dungeon crawler game. I'm not backing a let's tiptoe through the miasma game. I don't care. You could throw these out, spend the money on how many words is this? Pay someone to make more dungeons for that many words. That's my way of thinking. It's a different different play styles and everything. I would never use them. I don't. I just want to see my players in a dungeon, and it should speak for itself, and it should be a unique thing. Nothing in these travel rules, that I could tell, were specific for, let's say, the Blood Library, or specific for the dungeon. That's a totally different story. If you are going to a dungeon and the area around has changed specifically about that dungeon, and if it tells a story, a meaningful story that is connected to the dungeon, then now we got something cooking. But if this is just the generic thing for the, I don't want to say generic, I don't want to, but if this is the default sort of travel rules for the whole game, no matter what the dungeon is, no matter what kind of story you're trying to tell, I won't use them, but I hope other people enjoy them. That's what I'll say.
Well,
It's actually one of the things I like about them is the fact that they're completely modular. It means that you can completely take them out and it's not going to affect them. That's a
Yeah.
really good piece of design. But
Well,
it
what's
also
the-
means if you wanted to tell a story in Crows where travel was important, you have rules to allow you to do that. It's like I don't use montage text. I don't use negotiations very often, but I'm glad they're there for when I want them.
Yeah, and you can tailor make negotiations for a certain like person, NPC, and whatnot. I can see that. I wouldn't waste mine or the player's time going through the. I don't know. If I order a steak, I want to eat the steak, and that's the steak in this instance is a dungeon.
Yeah, if someone wants to include travel in their games, I believe there should be some very quick way to do it, like in 2 rolls, abstract the travel to like 2 or 3 rolls.
Yeah.
Just roll for something interesting, and if there's nothing interesting, then well, too bad, right?
I think maybe the missing part here is a good a good description or explanation of what is the purpose of the travel rules in Crows. What are they? What is James trying to achieve by having them here? Are they here just because, like retro style games have travel rules because that's how those kind of games are designed, or are they here to do something specific? Are they here for attrition purposes and making sure that the crows aren't too powerful when they arrive at the dungeon? Are they here to spawn like interesting locations? One of the things that they mention specifically is points of interest, which the ref book apparently has a list of, which we don't have access to, but where you can discover interesting things on the way to the dungeon, and that's supposed to bring more enjoyment to the game. Is that the purpose? We don't know, because these rules doesn't necessarily say why they are here. They only say that when you want to travel to a dungeon, here's how you do it.
The objective is clearly to just remake Outdoor Survival by Avalon Hills.
I think it's something that we discussed last week as well, which is this idea, like my point that like you have games which are about giving you cool things to use in your own stories, which is what Cameron likes in Draw Steel, and then you have games which I know John likes, which are here is a generator of cool ideas. Now you go make those interesting, right? And the travel rules are very far on the end of here is a generator of cool moments, make those interesting, right?
Yeah, and how? Yeah.
And so I'd ask, like, I don't know if you know, Cameron, there's this idea of in procedurally generated roguelike games called emergent gameplay, which is if you put enough random, if you put a bunch of so emergent gameplay is if you have enough randomly generated elements in a game room that you need to walk across, if you add enough of them, sometimes that will be interesting. Now, the other side of that is sometimes you're going to get a run of a roguelike where you get super lucky and you walk into the room and there's just a straight line across the entire room because the maths didn't maths, right?
Yeah.
But this is emergent gameplay. Yes, the travel rules are pretty boring on the way to the dungeon, But I could see them being really intense on the way back from the dungeon, particularly as it's my understanding, the number of rolls has been reduced. We're not gonna have to do the. I thought from my reading, you'll have to do the travel procedure 17 times per journey, right? If that has happened,
Yeah,
which I hope it has, then it's gonna be emerging because you're like, oh, well, now we have to. We're like, oh, we're already filled up on stuff. We're already injured. Now a not as interesting encounter has stakes because we might die.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I
It's
just
no longer 17.
oh, is it no longer okay?
It's no longer 17. Yeah,
That's good.
improvement.
I think you and me, Cameron, fall on different ends of this on Frederica's spectrum of
Oh, I know we
how,
do.
yeah.
I know because we've talked about Knave together, and my eyes glazed over. I was like, "Oh my god, how could you possibly roll on so many goddamn tables? What is
Am
the
I?
purpose of that? How do what?
Oh my god, guys! Chat,
agency.
I'm
Oh
not the
my-
one making hot takes.
Oh no!
Sorry for the ping. Go for it.
Oh no! We've talked about that and how it's
My darling
ridiculous.
Knave.
Yeah, your darling Knave. I'm glad you enjoy it, John. But my God, I can't tell a cohesive story with those charts. I can't. You can't.
Show them, John. Show them.
It can't be done. It can be good for
It's all tables. It's
yes,
all tables.
it's good for like for world building, sure. But I'm not here to world build. I'm here to tell a story, brother.
But-
Ooh.
Skill issue.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Cameron.
100% skill issue.
But I think though
Get
that I think, and this is maybe something that should be in the front of one of the books that come with Crows, is what is the intention of this? What is the intention of the game?
Yeah.
Because for me, it would be fun to just give you a hex map and say, there's a rumor of a dungeon to the northwest, about 3 days travel. And then just have you see, okay, do we want to go to the dungeon or do we go south and see what's going on there? And then on the 5th hex, you suddenly discover like an abandoned church with some kind of strange sounds coming out of it. And that turns out to be something that ends up being like a whole arc of a story where you end up, I don't know, driving out some kind of demon and restoring the church, and that ends up being a whole thing. And I don't know.
This would be cool, but in reality, what you would roll would be like you die in a wasteland, and this is the end of your story.
Yeah, I ran Draw Steel like that for that pirate adventure that I ran, right? Because it was basically you moving around a map and finding different encounters. And during that adventure, I understood my mistake was I wasn't putting interesting enough things on the map for you to interact with, and I usually do. My directing style is very railroady, certainly, because I have 5 or 6 sessions, and then we got to move on, right? And you give them too much agency, and I felt the tendrils of control slipping away, which I don't know if you even sensed that or whatever, and maybe I need to talk to my therapist about it, but it's really
Let's make that
but it's but it was. I kept thinking I need to put more interesting things on there, and for my own style, yikes. I need like, are we actually telling a cohesive story? There's something going on, but like, I don't know if I did a good enough job with that, to be honest. So I don't know.
feel like Crows, or I should say not Crows. My idea of what Crows will be when it's done is basically all plots, all situations, no plots, where it's just like, here's stuff happening in the world, and then a story will emerge from that somehow.
Somehow.
Yeah, agreed. It works every time. The trick is, Cameron, to think about it like
Somehow,
think about it-
what do you
no,
mean?
no, Cameron,
You're talking
Cameron,
about
no,
we can't revive people from Lord Kenway, and then now you're
yes,
like, oh
no, Cameron,
no.
Cameron. What you have to think about is
Somehow
the way I
Palpatine returned.
the way I prep adventures is that you have an you create an I create an interesting Act 1 for my players, and I create a bad Act 3 that they won't like. It'll be cool, but they won't like it where something bad happens. And the job of Act 2 is for me to have made the plan good enough that they fail the first time they try to fix it, and then then we find out which way Act 3 is going.
Okay.
That's how I think. If I was going to describe it in a plotting way, which I don't, because I'm not writing a movie, I'm a GM. These are not connected things to me personally, but that's how I think about it.
I can see that. I've run adventures like that, where you're like the Alien RPG is really good for that, where it is about the players and how they, interpret their different agendas and whatnot. And so, a bunch of different mechanics to help them with that. And I do kind of like. I kind of just put my hands up and I'm like, okay, they're going to do stuff, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, that's interesting.
I think the key of those kind of adventures, and what you're talking about with the pirate sandbox, is having, to steal something Matt talked about on stream. You need to have NPCs, you need to have villains, antagonists, and NPCs who are all who are all acting within the world. If you have villains doing things and you have NPCs doing things and you have antagonists doing things, and they're sometimes aligned in weird ways, the players will be able to manipulate that and change that. And that's how you get the power back, because you say, well, I can't change what the players are going to do, but I can change what the villain's going to do. Or another NPC or an antagonist. Yeah.
I gotta say, for sandboxy open situations like this, I was massively over preparing like 5 different set pieces ready for my players to take on. I can do some improvisation, but I would rather not.
Because you're trying to tell.
That's
That's
why you need.
No,
I disagree.
Now we
is-
know.
This,
Okay, so
this is a GM stack issue.
guys,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
so Frederica is clearly sponsored by Withering War, and John is sponsored by Knave. Cameron, who are you sponsored by?
literally anyone who will pay me money. Literally.
Where is
No,
my wallet?
this with you saying like, oh, I need to open. This is a GM stack issue. It's about It's about realizing that like all the skills that we do, that we rely on prep for, are things that you can learn to do in session. Like I have spent I'll tell you this now. My combats have been a bit rough for the last 4 months because I've been learning how to improv draw steel combats. I've not prepped a draw steel combat before a session in about 3 months, and now I can make a good encounter on the fly. It takes me about 5 minutes. And like, as long as I have the map, I can't improv a good map yet. That's the next step for me. But because I can't make it look pretty, and prettiness is important on the map. But I can prep the encounter. Once you can do something like that, the moment you can prep your own encounter, you can then get the framework of what you want, and then you can grab the bits you need just from your brain. And then you don't need to prep 15 different possible endings.
I don't have one of those though. That's the problem. I don't have a brain, so that's
because you've not practiced using it. Because you're too busy
that's-
running your railroads, where you've
Also,
written it
my
all down
therapist tells me,
beforehand.
No, okay,
Yeah.
Cameron,
You've
Cameron,
done all your railroad.
you don't need a brain if you've got Knave.
That's
In the wise words of Saber Runner, don't prep,
the
just
cover.
brain.
don't prep.
Brain.
I know, I'm really insightful.
brain,
I'm a
brain,
sage
brain,
today.
brain,
Just don't prep,
brain,
Fivehead.
brain.
What a great piece of advice from me. That's not the takeaway.
God.
Go watch
Yeah,
my video. No, I'm
We're
trolling.
gonna need a clip of that of Frederica saying, "Don't prep,
Don't prep, just brain.
don't prep, just brain."
For the clip, don't
Put
prep
that on
just
a shirt.
brain. Prep is overrated. You should just completely take this out of context.
Just brain.
But speaking of combats, I guess moving on to Iron
Oh
Man,
hell yeah!
which
Hell
showed up
yeah.
recently, which is
Yeah.
a game using the draw steel rules to make apparently at least combats. This is like pre-early access. There's only a bit of text in the description here about how the game works, which is basically an explanation of how like a basic explanation of how draw steel combats work.
Yeah.
What is a power roll?
Yeah, and it's like you've got like a maneuver and a main action, and you do a bit of movement.
This
You
looks
build
so
your
cool.
party.
Yeah, very cool.
I saw like the Reddit post, and the creator was like, "You could use this for playtesting." And I'm like, "Oh my god, yeah, you could do it for like numbers and like balancing encounters and that kind of stuff. That'd be really interesting."
The thing I loved the most about the Reddit post was like, hey, someone made a game using draw steel rules. It's me. I made the game. This was my favorite part. Immediately brought my attention.
It's and it's a roguelike that really it's interesting. It's interesting that you could like it looks like a draw steel dungeon crawler.
So this game has like monster AI, right? But
Lads,
the
it's not even
codec-
early access.
the
Like we
codex does
can't
too, right?
we can't
re-
really pass judgment on this yet. It's not even. We have screenshots. That's not a game.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
I'm-
we can't pass judgment
I'm-
on this.
That's true.
I'm just glad that it exists and someone's doing it.
Did I hallucinate it, or did Danny Various in the past talk about like AI taking control of monsters? Is it implemented? Does it
Yeah.
work?
Yeah, there's a module you can download in the codex where it
Yeah.
has the monster AI implemented for the first section of
Yeah.
the Delian Tomb.
So
I
technically,
streamed this.
you can still playtest draw steel using the AI, right?
I think so. It was.
You need to implement it, though,
hasn't
for
been,
the rest of the monsters, which it hasn't been.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
not an automatic thing.
So
It's
I'm
manual.
just
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you know. So I did my final year uni project on simulating AI in D&D, right? On like combat simulation in AI, and I don't think the codex is probably gonna like have a powerful enough. Like it's very quickly, if you're trying to think 3 rounds ahead in combat, the AI needs to filter through like more atoms than there are in the universe worth of possible combinations. It's actually insane how fast it builds up because of all of the possible moves. So my research is that you're either going to see some sort of like Gen AI machine learning algorithm, which has been trained a lot, and then it's going to, from my understanding of how that would have worked, from my understanding of my own implementation of this, that would be very difficult to scale with all of the different abilities. Or you're going to need something like a chess engine, but having made one of those, you can't make it very smart because trying to think more than like a turn ahead just gets chaotically terrible very fast because there's so many possible moves. So to me, it's going to be difficult to get an AI to be good at draw steel without spending the next like 3 years
Yeah.
making a machine learning algorithm. And I don't know if
If
they've
they-
done that
Yeah,
over the context.
I believe it's the old kind of AI. It's just a lot of ifs.
Yeah, if it's a lot of, I'm telling you now, having made one of those, if it's a lot of ifs, it's going to be really stupid in really funny ways.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. It's interesting though. It looks cool. It looks cool. I don't know. I'm just happy that it exists. And someone's, proud of it.
just want Divinity Original Sin with raw steel rules.
Yeah, that's it. Just
Please, please
I-
don't
it's
do
an
this.
open license,
Don't give
just
me
do it.
hope. Don't give
I've
me
been
hope.
crying out for like I don't think it could be possible. It's not moddable enough. But my girlfriend loves Baldur's Gate 3, and I just bounce off the combat every time because it's boring AF. And I'm just like, please, can I get either Baldur's Gate 3 with draw steel rules or XCOM with draw steel rules?
Oh, I haven't played XCOM, but you can mod Baldur's Gate 3 to
Yeah.
be
There is a
kind of like
Pathfinder
it, but it's
second
not the
edition
same.
mod.
not the same.
Hello there. Where is the draw steel Baldur's Gate 3 mod? Please, I need it in my life.
Silverrunner mentions also it's the last hour Kingmaker with draw steel rules,
Oh,
which
Kingmaker
are
is so
also in
good.
the same vein of Baldur's Gate, though with a bit lower production budget.
But yeah, this looks cool. I'm glad that they are doing this, and yeah, I wish them the best because it looks cool, and I'll
It's
play
on
it.
my wish list.
It's going to be really interesting to see how they work out the player abilities, which can be incredibly difficult to do. I mean, the codex have been struggling with some of the player abilities already, and I was discussing this a bit with a few people, and Gub mentioned that the way that triggers work would also probably have to be changed, especially considering if you're managing a whole party and remembering that, oh, actually, I want my shadow to always be have an edge when they attack, so that their heroics become cheaper, is going to be a lot to remember for like 5 different party members that all have very different ways of generating their heroic resources, in addition to their triggers.
As someone who plays strategy games, it depends how, if this is this real time or is this turn based?
It looks turn-based.
Is
If it's
this
turn-based,
real
then that won't
life
be an issue.
or just a fantasy?
Like if you've
That's a good
played, I
point.
don't know if you've played XCOM, but like XCOM is that complex and it's chill. And like I play games like Crusader Kings 3 and Europa Universalis 4 that are far more complex, and they're not.
God, yeah.
They're real time, like kind of. Depends if you
Yeah,
consider a day
sure.
a turn.
The question is though, is that what you want from? Is that what is this game trying to be? The kind of have the same kind of complexity as Europa Universalis, or is it trying to be Baldur's Gate?
Yeah, and that's why I feel like we need to play it before we can pass any realistic
Exactly
judgment on it.
It's just it was just a fun thing that popped up.
Oh no, it's fun. It's fun. It's apparently quadruple thumbs up for me. I just need to see it first before I can pass judgment on it. It's let me say it this way. It is a quadruple thumbs up set of screenshots.
Okay. Not really a screenshot if it's animated.
That's true. It's a GIF.
Sorry.
Nice.
Oh no, my bad. The GIF is actually only free. No, the GIF is also
Now
four
let's
thumbs
start
up.
the discussion if it's a GIF
good.
or a GIF. Obviously a GIF. Fight me.
Oh boy.
All right.
Why is my name keep changing?
Queen
John.
of quadruple thumbs up. Oh no.
The last thing is Ananam that wanted to mention some recent additions to Trigger Love Games.
Oh yes. This is a very important news for me. So with a lot of pleasure, I want to announce that 2 new incredible third-party designers are joining Striglov Games. And from now on, Jenny Redacted and Zeta Sophos will be part of Striglov Games for our upcoming projects. Hello, Jenny.
Huge
Hello,
gets.
Zeta
Yeah.
Sophos.
Yeah.
So glad.
Couple good
glad
ones.
You are with us. Yeah, that's it.
Those are huge
Hell
gets.
yeah.
I'm a huge fanboy for Jenny's design.
So as far as I understand
Killer
it, based
design.
on how much I know that all Draw Steel Brewery projects are actually the same 3 people wearing about 15 hats, does that just mean that TrivLab Games just is the third-party Draw Steel content community? you have taken it over. It is now just you.
I am the Senate.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry, what's this in my ear? Don't bad talk. I don't care about the possibility of a monopoly. Thank you for
Yeah.
always so much.
No.
No, I'm trolling.
Yeah. Yeah. If they just give me money and I'll say the same thing.
Gotta get the best.
Get
of
1,000 subscribers, Cameron.
This is the stage where we have a magical transition into the third party scene of Draw Steel and the supplements that have been published recently.
By magical chat, you all have to say a magic word in the chat, otherwise it won't happen.
Magic word. And if
Yeah, we
any
need a
of them
magic word
suck,
from everyone.
the magic is broken.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it doesn't work.
doesn't work.
So, Cameron, it's somehow worse both of us being on the show. We're actually making this so much worse for John. I feel like he could manage one of us, but together.
Our powers combined.
Friendship is magic.
We gotta see some magic words in the chat. Oh gosh, wow.
Yay!
Letting us down.
Abracadabra.
Solid.
That's
Wait, I
making
can do
a-
the most
a corpse
British
strip
joke
up here.
ever.
All right.
Sorry.
In Polish we say hocus pocus czary mary.
Sorry, John, please take the reins. Please take the
stara
reins.
to twój stary.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, we're not stopping on what you.
What? I missed something.
While Frederica recovers, we're gonna have a look at some of the third party stuff that's been released recently, and I'll bring it up on screen for everyone to see. And the first one out is Hearth and Steel, which is Strongholds rules for Draw Steel.
I've read it twice now.
Fun fact, John. I read this for prepping this thing, but for preparing for this podcast. I read it. I was like, wow. I sent it to my player who's building a stronghold and said, you know the crappy rules I made? Here they are. Someone made them better than me. This is the rules we were looking for. They looked over them and went, yep, these are the ones we were looking for. So we're now going to use it in the game. So
Nice.
I'll report back.
Another potential quadruple thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely quadruple thumbs up.
How many thumbs you've got? Is 4 a limit, or
7.
do you have? Oh, so it's 4 out of 7 only. Okay.
No, I have 4.
How is it an odd number?
I can only have 7 up on stream without getting demonetized. I can only have 4 up on stream without getting demonetized.
So these are these look really interesting, and it kind of solves the issue that I encounter with MCDM strongholds and followers rules, where the rules assume that you're going to build one stronghold for each player, but where this basically just says, yeah, you're going to have a stronghold together.
Yeah, it was based on Colville's playstyle when he was younger, right?
Yeah, MCDM rules were, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I like both variants. I am not against each player having their own stronghold. I've played like this in my own games, but having one stronghold shared between players and they just add stuff to it like rooms or facilities or whatever, is just simpler, right? It's like it's team play. It's complementing each other, complementing each other, I guess. So yeah, I believe for most groups this is the preferred way of play. Like D&D even did this in 5.5, right? The Bastions. Yeah. And I believe in every single product released since there are expanded rules for Bastions, so I guess they are all in on this. And maybe they're also very popular.
I think it's interesting, and I think it's a really cool foundation to, like, it makes me think, how would I use these in an adventure? How do you, like, how do you build an adventure around these rules? And I think that's a win.
I also love them because they just feel like a really, really good mini game.
Yeah, it's very simple.
Like it's just like, my experience is players who want to build strongholds do not need rules to tell you about how they want to design their stronghold and how they want to acquire the material. And my experience with these players is they will come to you and be like, so I've been thinking, and I think I know this NPC, and if I make a deal with them to carry my map, like, they're already thinking of that stuff, and all they need is just, they just need a bonus to make it feel like all of that work was worth it.
Yeah.
I think my my only issue with these rules are, and these are so petty, but I have to mention them. It uses a D20 here and a D12 here.
What, you don't like different
those are
dice?
not raw steel dice.
Oh. That is true.
Yeah,
that is true.
that is very
fine.
petty. I give this
You want-
pettiness
yeah,
3 out of 4 thumbs.
I give it 4 thumbs down. Stop being so petty.
Yeah,
But
literally
that's
unplayable.
the only thing that I could really point out. I've only
Yeah.
read these and I haven't used them, of course. But yeah,
No, but seriously, if you buy a MCDM dice set for Draw Steel, you are not able to roll these tables.
no,
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
that's like a minor thing. All in all, I really like these rules, and I like this art.
Yeah, tomorrow new version will be released 1.1 with the different roles
Dean Spencer, of course.
just
Yeah,
for
that makes
John.
sense. If you like a piece of art, that it's probably Dean Spencer. That's
So basically, check this out if you want stronghold rules and you own a D12 and a
Yeah.
D20.
It should. Does it, John? Does it have like a tools you'll need section in the front? For tools John Denor will need because he's so petty. Tools petty people will need, really.
Can we just, as Goblin panel, can we get it put in the thing where it's just a bit from John with a grumpy face that says tools that you'll need?
I'll write a review. I had to go buy a D12 and a D20 for this. God. No, I would definitely use those. That seems
Can we get
really
a
cool.
premium version of the product which gets which gets a printed version that comes with a D12 and a D20 and explains how they work. But like it explains them like you're free and you don't know what they are.
You drop that.
Okay, kill me, but for the life of me, I have no idea how to pronounce the first name of the person behind this product.
Graham.
Graham? Just like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, Graham? I'm sorry, I am so bad with names in English.
I want to know.
Don't worry, don't worry.
Okay.
Everyone in English is bad with names. Nobody in England can say my name correctly. Don't worry.
Frederica?
Frederica.
Yeah, you could do it. All the English people watch. Cameron, how would you say my name?
Frederica.
Yeah, see, can't say it.
I can't. I just did.
You're missing. No,
I
because
see.
they say
Frederica.
Frederica. They miss an
Frederica,
E.
yeah.
It's just Frederica. They miss the E
It's-
in the middle, and it
it's
makes it sound terrible.
It's because in Polish it's
Frederica.
Fryderyka. And we
Yeah, I know.
pronounce every
No, it's a way
single
better
vowel.
pronunciation. I love the EU pronunciation of my name. The English pronunciation of my name sucks.
The EU.
The bad thing was, I said it quite confidently. I was like, yeah, obviously.
You are confidently wrong, Cameron.
America.
You're not getting
Oh, so
so
can you see?
Moving past the name of the designer, the Chauntlet. Wow, now we're slipping. The Gauntlet of Champions.
The Chauntlet of Champions.
Yes, the Chauntlet of Champions.
I like the cover.
Yeah,
Yes.
the cover is really nice. Old school adventure cover.
And it's not drawn by Dean Spencer because it's said right here was Henry Karppinen.
Talk
It
about
looks very
names.
Finnish. Might be Estonian, maybe.
Yeah. Dope name for that
Or
guy.
Finnish?
Person.
Yeah. So this is like a short delve only. So I called it a thing you throw in front of the players when you just need a bit of time until next session. Frederica's making some faces because she has
Yeah.
opinions.
Have you seen the map?
And I haven't seen the map.
Oh
the
yeah,
map?
I didn't put the map
the
in
map.
the thing.
Let's see the map.
Let me talk
quiz
about
show?
the map, Frederica, while I find it here.
Say only good things, though.
Okay. A wild bottle of water emerged in the chat.
Water. Can say
Because it's a meme how Brits pronounce the bottle of water.
a bottle of water?
What? I'm
Yeah,
just gonna take
that's
a
how
drink
I
from my
say it.
bottle of water.
Bottle of water. Bottle of water. I like this map. I remember seeing that. Yeah, I like this map. I think it's
So,
cool.
Frederica. Oh no! Oh come on! Work with me here. Here we go. Okay, that's
Look cool. There's walls.
usable. So these are flat maps, which Frederica hates with a passion.
A deep unadulterated, a deep passion.
But I will say though, the first room is supposed to have different layouts based on whether you step on the pressure plates. So it does change the map in the middle of combat if you if the characters walk on the pressure plates.
That's very fun.
People need to learn about the famous Murphy orc trap. You know, guys? Murphy orc trap from Jim Murphy. No?
Oh, Murphy Orc Trap. No, I don't know.
you gotta educate yourselves.
Okay, I'll look it up
Yeah.
after
So
the podcast.
my feeling is, right, I acknowledge that this adventure is good, right? It's a good delve. It's solid. My issue is a delve is a dungeon. It's a place that you go through and you're gonna fight in or do stuff in. And if this is a fighting one, and so it needs to be it has to be a good map. Like that's the number one requirement of a delve that doesn't make its own. I don't think makes its own monsters unless I miss something. Don't want to talk
Well,
something stupid.
at least the rooms are not empty.
No, they used
Goblins, yeah.
Oh, you know,
monsters.
again, better than MCDM maps, but they're not good yet. It's a good start. I just want to see elevation because if I if I was a character, like the walls are good. The rooms other than A2 aren't too big. There's enough stuff going on there. Like there's stuff going on. I just think it would not be hard to add elevation to this map, even if it's just that you make the two sides higher than the middle, or you make the middle higher than the two sides, or you make it a slope, or you add raised platforms, or you add a balcony layer you can stand on looking around the edge, or any of these many different things, just to add a little bit of elevation. Because if you're gonna sell a product where it looks that good, the cover and stuff, this map isn't. A map in Dungeon Scroll isn't good enough.
In defense of this map, the first room does have elevation, and lots of it, because every wall is, except for this one, which is up to the ceiling. The other ones are just elevated.
They are? Oh, I'm so sorry I missed that. That changes everything for me. I take it all back. I take it all back.
Wow.
I take literally all of it back. The first room, double thumbs up.
Yeah.
The A2 does not pass the vibe test, but an A3 no. But A1 quadruple thumbs up. I was wrong. I will admit I was wrong.
The fun thing is that when the map changes from one layout to the next, the walls come up from the floor, and if you end up being in a square because the roof is 3 squares off the floor, so if you're in this on this platform right here, and it changes to layout 2, you'll get squeezed and then fall prone next to the pillar that grew up. You take a bit of damage and fall off because it's now goes to the roof instead.
Not only was I wrong, I was ill-informed and very wrong. Formal apology.
Yeah.
This is good. Fix A2 and A3, and we're all good.
Yeah.
I think they look cool.
I like how this is just another opportunity to like smash goblins. Good old goblin smashing. Earning a lot of goblin points. Wink, wink.
Racism.
Fantasy racism.
It's fantasy, so it's okay.
Why?
It's against goblins.
You don't mind killing gnolls?
I'm out. I'm out.
Next up is just the announcement of a crowdfunder for the Menace class. We don't really know. There is a preview. Didn't I include the preview?
It looks cool.
You did.
That art looks really cool.
There was something like a fighter you wish you played, like
Yeah,
tagline
the fighter
for
you've
this?
been waiting for.
Oh,
Yeah.
the fighter.
Okay. Does anyone
It's
does
right
anyone
in front
know
of me, and you
does
didn't see
anyone
it.
know what this is like? What is the Menace? I don't. I read it. I read it again. I read it a third time. I looked at the abilities. I have no. It's a vibe. It's somehow. It's the first vibe-based class I've seen.
I gotta say they do some interesting stuff with the kids, which I did not completely follow. In the end, I realized.
No, there's some cool stuff in there. There's some cool stuff in there,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
don't understand what the cool stuff is trying to model.
I think they need. It doesn't seem. Yeah, you're kind of right. Where it's like, what is this supposed to be? Like, you've seen the other classes that have come out that are really like, oh wow, yeah, that was it the gunslinger? That you obviously know what a gunslinger is. A menace does not necessarily tell you what it is. Maybe a sneaky boy with a little, with a little menace, little, daggers or something. But that would be just a complete guess.
Just a sneaky boy with his little dagger.
I
Yes.
think what this is missing, this preview, is the first section of the class part, the basic section where it says
The description.
yeah.
Yep.
This is kind of here's like here's the vibe, here's the play style, and like a quote or a quote. Is that the thing that they include?
Yeah.
I think you're completely right. This would solve a lot of problems with not knowing what this is supposed to be. Like you can analyze it and figure it out, right? Like for me, this class tries to be like a superior martial character, like a tactician, but without the tactics, without leading, without commanding. It has like a kit plus or kit plus, just trying to be better at being a martial, because all the other kit using classes have different kind of things that are on top of the kids, and this just tries to maximize the pure martial prowess of the class. This is how I understand this.
I think some part of the strength of Draw Steel's at least class design is that it's very flavor down, where it's kind of like the fantasy first. This is kind of the kind of thing we want this to be, and then you make a class that kind of tries to fulfill that fantasy. Now you might argue how well the classes fulfill that fantasy, but at least that was the attempt that was made, and I feel this is missing that part, and that makes it maybe feel.
Well, there is a fantasy of being like a master swordsman, I don't think tactician is the fantasy that implements
Agreed.
So there is space
but-
for like a master swordsman that's like
Yeah.
just a superiority martial fighter. I
But
think
it,
this
but it
tries
doesn't
to
say
be,
that
be
that's
this.
what this is trying to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the crowdfunder page just says it's the fighter I've been waiting for. I haven't really been waiting for a fighter for Draw Steel.
I didn't
so
want
I'm
to
not
say
really
this
sure
to not
what-
be
what I'm
rude, but
supposed
I
to
was like,
expect.
yeah, I was not waiting for a fighter. But it
fair.
makes sense. It is a fantasy that's not really present in Draw Steel, being just like a, kick-ass samurai, You're not a tactician. Samurai does not really command other people. Samurai is just great with their sword,
Yeah. That's fair.
And this isn't us saying that it doesn't look like a good class. It looks
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
it's interesting. There's a lot of interesting stuff here when I read through it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't understand what I was measuring against. Like, I don't know how to say whether it's a good. Are the mechanics by themselves are just like draw steel mechanics by themselves are not interesting. It's does the way we've implemented the set of tools that we've been given generate a feeling that I feel like matches what I've been told is the feeling you're trying to generate? Does it make me feel like a thing? But because I don't know what the thing I'm supposed to feel like is, I can't pass judgment on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking at the Otor subclass of the Troubadour just before the stream, and if you just see the Otor abilities by itself, where it's all fourth wall breaking, it looks incredibly whack. But when you get the flavor added to it, it makes at least more sense. I think it's still too whack for some directors. Like I don't want this at my table, and that's understandable. But still, yeah.
Yeah.
Once if you get the flavor on top, then it may be easier to understand what we're trying to measure it against. I think that's a good way of putting it. Yeah. Moving on to the next thing. This is by Christian Aragon of Crispy's Tavern.
Oh yeah.
It is a setting for Draw Steel, complete with a new class, new subclasses, new ancestries, new careers, 150 monster stat blocks, and more. It claims.
And even more. Crispy is the one who does like all those class videos, right? On
Yes.
Draw Steel. Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
They've
Yeah.
got two channels. They both do the drama stuff, and then they do the in-depth stuff.
Gotcha.
So there's Crispy's Academy and Crispy's Tavern.
It's funny how the Draw Steel class videos get like 4,000 views, where the D&D drama gets like 400,000.
Yeah.
Is it surprising though? Is that surprising?
No, it's not surprising, but it's funny.
Yeah.
There's a magazine, like one of those magazines that's all about like stuff that famous people do, like gossip magazines. And there's a saying that no one reads the magazine, but everyone knows what's in it. Because
Yeah.
no one wants to admit that they read it, but of course they know everything that's inside
Yeah.
each issue.
Yeah.
To
Daily
me,
dose of Professor Dungeon Master.
I have an issue. I am confused as to what this product is trying to be. Like, I don't understand from my reading it. There's a lot here. There's a lot of things advertised. I don't get why. Like, is it just, like, if it's just a bunch of stuff, right? A bunch of stuff is cool, but I personally like my bunch of stuff to have theme or a unifying concept, and I don't understand what is going on here.
If I've understood this correctly, this is to draw steel what something like Eberron is to D&D.
Okay.
It's a different setting. There's some different ancestries that's kind of unique to the setting. There's a new class that's kind of unique to the setting, but
okay.
it's still building on the same stuff from. So it's basically what if you had draw steel, but you wanted it to be different.
Gotcha.
So this
Okay,
is
so-
giving
Different
you the
flavors, yeah.
setting, and it's giving you all the flavor you need to run in that setting.
Gotcha.
So I was correct that it's a bunch of stuff, but there is flavor. There is a box. It's like a pretty box for a bunch of stuff to be in, which is a good thing.
Yes.
I like it. I feel like it feels like quite an ambitious product just from the
Yeah.
scale of the things, and I'm not unless I've been living under a rock, which is entirely possible. I'm not aware of Crispy having made stuff before. They're not a name I see pop up in the brewery server and around. So I'm just a little concerned as to the scale.
What I am not too familiar with crispy stuff in general, but this, considering that there is so much already kind of planned, and there's apparently like a publishing deal with Hitpoint Press, which isn't an insignificant like publisher. It feels like this might be something. This is just me going completely off of impressions, but it feels like a thing that they might have been working on for a while. And when they came across Rossi, like, oh yes, this works much better. I like this better than probably 5e. I just assumed that they were probably building this for 5e. Came across the raw steel and like, oh, I like this game better. I'll just port my setting over to that instead. That's the impression I get. But
Completely normal phenomenon.
but yeah, it looks really
at that.
ambitious. And
Yeah, it does have a style.
Yeah.
Not the greatest fan of the parchment stat blocks, because that's something that reminds me of 5e, and I believe
Hard to read.
Draw Celia products should just have cleaner layouts, not as clean or barren as MCDM, but still cleaner. But it has a style. It's not afraid to show its style, and I like it being bold.
Yeah.
I think that's a very, very nice style. I will admit the text is a little small for me, and there is way too much going on in the background. Like, I wonder if the reason I missed some of the information here is I know that one of the signs to me that I'm struggling to read something as a dyslexic is that I just don't take in the information. Like, that text is very difficult for me to read.
Yeah.
I will say, yeah. There's something intriguing about the look of the stat blocks, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
I feel like
Also-
there's something to like here, but I don't think they've completely arrived at where they should be.
Yeah.
I think this is a little bit like, because it's possible that I've missed something, but I feel like part of the issue with this product is if it's a setting book, right? What we've been given is the components of the setting. But what we're missing is the world map of this setting, the story of this setting. What are the adventures I'm going to run? Like, I'm looking at this going, these stat blocks have a real energy to them, right? That I like. I like the art. I like they. I'm going, oh, I like this. How do I need the setting to tell me how to use this.
Yeah.
Well, stat
Oh
blocks are
shit!
like
I didn't
monsters.
notice. I didn't see there was something.
There's a dude.
Stat blocks and monsters and stuff can be cool in a vacuum, because
Yeah.
I believe most people don't even play in the settings they buy. They just pick what they like and put into their own games. Like, I've bought like, I don't know, 20 hardcovers with settings site. Never used a single one of them, but there are some elements I like, some monsters I just pick and put them in my game.
Yeah.
It mentions on the page from the brutal jungles of the Leviathan Isles to the eldritch dystopia of the Phantom City, Yumi and the Horizon Toll takes you through a brutal world powered by raw steel. It says somewhere in here that it's a setting product. I don't remember where I read this.
The very first
we go.
line.
Explore the preview of a brutal, stunning new campaign setting written by Christian Aragon. Blah blah blah. So it's put forward as a setting, but there's very little like information
the
about the
setting.
setting itself. Like
That's true.
Yeah.
What are you
it
what are you
looks like
pitching me
there's
on? You know,
there's like demons that are just roam around. I assume this is a hero. I don't know.
she's got a gun. I think that's
Yeah,
she got a
but
gun.
it's like
Watch out, she's got a gun.
And
I
s-
would assume this is the protagonist or like a hero character because of they're the main focus of the thing. But that could also be misleading. See the beginning of Draw Steel Heroes where Ajax is the focal point.
Okay.
But I don't know. Is this like a? I assume this is some kind of demon creature that's roaming around freely, and they have to protect against that. I guess.
if
We
he's not a
might
demon, he
never
looks.
know.
If he's not a demon, he looks really unwell. Just there's something.
Yeah.
There's
Yes,
infection.
it's just I feel like there's an introduction missing
Swollen
here,
tongue.
where it's like
Yeah.
it starts off with the new status conditions, which these I didn't double check this, but these very much look like the added status conditions that are in the brewery.
Nope. No overlap.
No, different, very different.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and but it's a good point. That, what are you pitching us on? What
New status conditions.
you mean? Well, like yeah, that's exactly. It's a new status conditions and then a new ancestry. Yeah, you do want to sort of pitch them on, like, bam, this is what hooks you. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that,
to be
that's
fair,
kind of what I'm
looks really
missing. And then,
Showing a map for a setting or some landscape would be very good to think for
Yeah,
a
it's a
preview for a
setting.
setting.
Yeah, I feel like a setting book needs to have a map in it, and
You can-
I can't pass judgment on a setting without knowing anything about the setting.
You
I
can
can
see. You can see what I assume is the Phantom City or whatever it's called in the background of this pic.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's not what
That's
I
not-
expect from a preview of a setting book, right?
And then I think that's why we're all having this reaction, because like I'm gonna say something a bit hot takey, but like I'm looking at these stat blocks and I'm not going, wow, these are really cool and unique stat blocks. I'm going, these look like perfectly passable stat blocks that are they're just stat blocks. Like I'm not looking here and going, wow, these are amazing stat blocks. I'm seeing a really cool art direction. I'm seeing a very unique energy, but that's the thing. This is a setting book. I need the
Yeah.
setting before I can give you any feedback. So no thumbs up or thumbs down. I am neutral on this.
Yeah, who are these people that you are like? What are these creatures, and how do we interact with them other than fighting them? What's the lore in there? You know? Yeah.
Cameron, these are monsters in a tactical game. You just kill them.
Oh no, are we promoting that? No, I'm not gonna do that.
I think
Violence.
once kind of by accident, but once again the issue I think is you need like a thesis statement at the beginning saying this is what we're trying to deliver, and then you can measure the rest of the content or the stuff they've included based on do they deliver on what they promised.
Yeah.
And then at the end, the Magnifics, which is how I've decided to pronounce that
Yeah.
because.
Yeah.
These are quite interesting because you start out as it's an ancestry, and you start out as a unfinished work of art, basically. You could be like whether you're a statue, model, an epic, a painting, or prose. You'd laid forgotten for many unknown years in this state. And you basically start off by having one of your party members work on a project called Magnum Opus, which is basically making you whole. Finishing the project that was started and making you whole. And once you reach that point, this Magnum Opus is your only signature trait. And then the purchasable traits are like regular purchasable traits. But once you're finished, once your Magnum Opus has been completed, you get an extra bonus for
It's
per
pretty cool.
per which which traits you chose.
Yeah. Very
Then it makes it
interesting
bigger.
theme. Pretty interesting mechanics. Overall, good job, right?
Yeah. I really like it, and I like how it like sort of promotes. It's not something that is really in Draw Steel right now, where you're promoting the heroes to work together outside of combat in an interesting way.
I really like it because it fixes, like, I remember giving the feedback on this when it was originally in the jam, and this is like this was a hardcore vibes-based ancestry. And what I love about this is that they've made this really unique. Like, you're gonna know you're playing a Magnifique. You really get what it means to be a Magnifique. It means to play something unfinished, right? That's the thing. It's not just any art piece. You are an unfinished art piece. My only concern is that the magnum opus is static. I would love to see there be some. This is just a thing that kind of what I was reading is like that idea of being an unfinished art piece. When I'm around artists, they never finish their art pieces. They're never done. There's always more you could be done. I would love there to be more of a mechanic of kind of finishing and unfinishing. I don't know how that would work. I'm not a designer. This is not a helpful thing for me to say. But that was my one thing. Is I feel like the only danger with this is like it's not that many project points to be like, oh, we're echelon 2 and now I'm finished and now we just forget about this. It doesn't. It feels. It's a cool idea. I want more.
Yeah, let's make it like a continuous project. You can keep adding ancestry points, and then you play a Magnifique Acolyte and can then buy immense power with 10 ancestry points as an Acolyte. Just give 10 points to Gozimok and be a god.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like, and that would also work well with the fact that a lot of them are quite powerful. I'm like, it would be cool if it was more like, oh, I have some meta resource called Magnum Openum, and then I can spend Magnum Openum to like do cool shit, and then I need more of it. You know, that's what I'd love to see, and that's not. I know that's a lot of scope for an ancestry, but also as Joe Steele, go for it. Sounds cool.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed that it was only like 200 project points. That's not that long of a project.
It's a really weird. Project points are a really weird space because 200 project points in like Crack the Sun, probably a really long thing. 200 project points in my game where my party once took a month off and just did solo downtime, nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the chain of 10 respites where all the players were fishing and nobody caught any fish.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
But they kept going, didn't they? They kept
yeah,
going.
of course. What you gotta do when you got a rod and a pond.
Exactly.
That's what she said.
I wasn't gonna go there.
It's past the watershed in the UK.
Daring, are we, Frederica?
All right, that was the end of the agenda, if I remember correctly. Yes.
Yeah.
So, any closing thoughts, or do I even dare opening the floor to this group of people?
Oh. I would be afraid to pass microphone to Frederica. What have we learned today about MCDM's adventure design?
This episode's brought to you by the letter G for God.
Okay,
This
can I-
episode is brought to you by Nave.
I have a kind of.
No, don't buy
and the Withering War.
Well, buy
Hashtag not
buy the
sponsored.
Withering, yeah.
You want
buy
adventure?
Even if I am
No,
running
have
it, and
tables.
I bought it, I'm running it because I bought it and then asked for exclusive access. No, I want to say, because of things that I've seen in other places currently in the community, that I think it's important we remember that Draw Steel is a space that is open to many directors who play in many, many different ways, and there is not one correct way to play. And if you want to stand up in front of your group of players and do a big song and dance and a big dramatic performance, power to you. But if you're a director like me, that isn't your strong suit, and you want to do it a different way, and you focus on other things. I focus a lot on gameplay. Cameron loves plots. John loves Knave. Right? Whatever it is that you want to bring to your session, do it and enjoy the game, and don't let anyone else, no matter who they are, no matter what sway they have in the community, tell you how to play your game.
Yeah. But you
What
should be
do I
playing it
love,
my way.
Frederica? What do I love, Frederica?
Hiring third-party contractors. I don't know.
Oh,
Goblins?
yeah.
That's true.
I love
Vampires. You
hiring
definitely love
people.
vampires.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That is true.
All right, that it sounds like we finally reached the end.
Yikes.
The limit of hot takes, the hot take frontier.
Well, let's not go that far.
I can. Do
I
you want
can
me to
go.
open up my Obsidian note called Hot Takes?
Oh no.
Actual thing I have for YouTube video titles. It's not even a troll.
All right. This has been some number of Goblin panel. I didn't look up which one number.
Can you not count to 4?
Is it the fourth? There's so
no.
much.
Oh no. So I thought you meant some number of Goblin panelists. I was like, they're pretty confident there's 4 of us. No, I think this is the 4th because I remember watching 2 before I was invited on.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, yeah. So so that's the end of the 4th Goblin panel. The Goblins in Residence has been myself, which you can find here on YouTube and on installed.app. We've also had Frederica. And where can they find you, Frederica, if they don't know?
If you search my name and the word Draw Steel, I appear on YouTube. That's the best way to find me. Or Frederica Tether, the second one spelt like a feather but with a T. That's the actual handle. I think it's in the description. John's quite organized.
I noticed in one of your videos, I think no, it was one of your community posts. You called your viewers Tether Tots, which is
Yes.
I really love, and I wasn't aware that you were allowed to name your own fandom.
Yeah. Your fans are obviously goblins.
Yeah, obviously goblins.
Yeah.
They're obviously pointy goblins.
Mine are heroes, obviously.
I hadn't even thought of that actually.
Goblins the North, right?
I'm glad you guys like the Tether Tots because believe it or me, my community had a slightly negative. I've only really heard mildly negative responses to me calling my community Tether Tots. I thought it was funny, and then my
is
whole
fun.
community took it really seriously and were like, "Are you trying to build a parasocial relationship with us through the use of a community name? We're not sure if we like that." I was like, "I was just being silly," and so I stopped doing it again.
Goblins are taking my parts up. Oh goddamn! I don't want to be associated with that. Okay, moving on. The third Goblin panelist, the third Goblin in Residence, was Cameron.
Hello, that's
Where-
me.
Yeah, where can people find you, Cameron?
You can find me on Blue Sky at Rise Heroes Rise. You can find me on YouTube as Rise Heroes Rise. And you can find me at my house address, which is not going to be shared publicly, obviously. Yeah.
See, Cameron's a professional, unlike me. I live in London.
And last but not least,
Don't say that.
You know how big London is.
no, famously, Cameron does not know geography at all.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
that's Cameron. That's like me saying
No, I
I
don't.
live in Los Angeles.
Yeah. I didn't.
Yeah, I know these words.
The last Goblin in Residence was Ananam of Trigger Love Games.
Hello, thank you, dziękuję, dobranoc. You can find me in central Poland.
Anywhere else people can look you up, Ananam?
You can look for me on
Just-
Blue Sky. You can also join Three Glove Games Discord channel at threeglovegames.com. You will find all the required links to join our Discord server.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And also Central Poland if you just go fishing.
I feel like we need a PO box for Goblin panel. I'm just saying. I feel like there'll be a lot of humor from a PO box.
Atomic
would they
Sorcery
send it?
says
We
that
live
London,
4 different
Ontario
countries.
isn't that big. I think you'll find Atomic Sorcery that city is actually called Fake London. Now,
If you watch Just Stop Bikes, can confirm.
yeah. All right. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you, every one of you, next time too. And that's it for us. So I
Yeah.
guess-
Bye, Knave.